Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Holderhek here with another video for you. This is going to be a multi-target AOE DPS rotation guide as the part 2 follow-up to the single target DPS rotation guide. I see a lot of people watching that video and I really didn't cover AOE, and I want to make sure that we are aware of our AOE toolkit as enhancement. It's really not that great. Like, we really don't have cleave. We really don't have the kind of constant AOE a warrior or a mage can provide. But if we chain together our abilities effectively, and we have a full mana bar, we can do decent cleave damage, and I'm going to show you that today. One thing I want to mention before we get started is, obviously my voice is completely shot. I've been really sick the past week, which is, you know, I guess what happens when you work full-time and then try to play this full-time. Hello, Mr. Undead Guy. He's doing the video right now. Anyway, so this is who's talking right now. And so I've been sick, my voice is shot, and I just want you guys to be aware of that, and I hope it doesn't distract too much that I sound like a monster truck rally announcer. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday at the Undercity, Gravedigger returns for his vengeance against Bigfoot. Anyway, everybody, I'm glad you can be here and join me for the next video of the series. Let's move forward and get into the Shaman DPS AOE rotation guide. So we're going to start off with your maximum AOE cleave damage, your big dick, full mana bar, every spell you can cast as soon as you can cast it, AOE cleave, right? The only way you can do this is if you expend your literal entire mana bar, and it's really not great because you have to basically drink at the end of every pull. But if stuff has to die and you have to do as much damage as possible, this is what you're going to be using, right? So at the beginning of the pull, we got to drop our group support totems. That's going to, you know, vary depending on what your group is. The choices between Strength of Earth, you know, Stone Skin, Grace of Air, Wind Fury, Mana, or Healing. All of those just depend on your group makeup. Then we're going to open the pull as the warrior or tank runs in and grabs aggro. You're going to stick a Flame Shock on that primary target. That's going to start your damage for the pull. Then we need to drop our Flame Nova totem away from the mobs to where they don't just immediately run over and hit it, and also so if the mage traps them in ice, they don't immediately turn and hit it. Flame Nova generates a ton of aggro, and it is our biggest AOE damage doer. So if they kill that Flame Nova totem, your AoE is going to be absolute crap. So you have to strategically place that Flame Nova so it will go off. And that requires a little bit of playing with each pack of mobs, and it's going to come down to your own personal ability to do so. Once that Flame Nova is down, you're going to start casting a lower rank Chain Lightning, whether it's rank 1 or 2, just enough to build up a little bit more cleave damage, and the Chain Lightning should go off right around the same time as the Flame Nova. You'll see a lot of great numbers. It is at that point you will run in, Flame Shock a secondary target, and re-drop a Magma Totem near the rest of the mobs that are alive. At this point, your primary DPS target within the pack should be dead or close to dead, so you're going to switch to that secondary target. If your magma goes full duration and stuff's still alive, and you have the mana for it, you can drop Fire Nova number 2. Remember the rules of keeping it away from the mobs, and also keep up Flame Shock on at least 2 targets during the duration of the pull. You will then single target until everything is dead, and that is your absolute maximum cleave damage. Now we're going to go into a slightly more mana conservative AoE rotation. This is one, if you play your cards right, you'll have to drink maybe every other pull. So it's still not like warriors constantly running in and cleaving everything with absolutely no downtime, but it's okay. So more or less, your rotation is going to stay exactly the same as before. The only difference is now we are no longer twisting Fire Nova into Magma. You're either going to decide if the mobs are going to die quickly or if they are going to die slowly. If they die slowly, then Magma will do more damage over time. If they're going to die quickly, you're going to want to get out that burst of Fire Nova. So you're going to have to pick one based on how fast you're killing the mobs and go with that. I cannot stress how important it is to strategically place your totems. The Magma Totem and the Fire Nova Totem, again, have huge aggro, so you have to put them away from the mobs so the mobs don't immediately run over and kill them. And this is not something that's ever entirely in your control, because the group may move, aggro may break, but it is something that you have to be conscious of on every single pull. Beyond that, the rest of this stays the same. You open with your totems, you open with a Flame Shock, you try to keep Flame Shock on at least 2 targets, throw that Chain Lightning in there, and begin your single target DPS until everything dies. Now when you're pulling small groups, your rotation is going to change a little bit again. If it's only 2, maybe 3 mobs tops, then you really don't need to cast that Chain Lightning unless you just really like casting Chain Lightning. It's one of my favorite spells, so I cast it pretty much all the time, even if I don't have to. But if you're trying to maximize your DPS, then you probably don't need to on groups of 2 to 3. So you drop your support totems, you Flame Shock that primary target, you would run in and drop that Magma Totem or Fire Nova Totem, depending, away from the mobs, and then you begin your single target primary focus DPS. With group sizes this small, focus targeting is very important, so make sure everybody's attacking the same mob and just burst it down single target style, and that's going to be the easiest way to clear these small packs. And make sure that you're trying to keep up Flame Shock on at least 2 mobs at the same time, and by at least, I mean only 2, because that is the duration of Flame Shock. Now for some final tips, tricks, consumables, whatever, things that you can do to help your overall AoE damage as a shaman. The biggest of those would be grabbing the Ravager from Scarlet Monastery. This thing, even till you're 60, has a really interesting proc where you just spin in place and do a Blade Flurry, and it is incredibly useful if it procs for clearing large groups of mobs. Like I said, even at 60, like I'm currently using this thing in level 60 dungeons, and I will potentially be using it in raids. The weapon damage is very low, but it's infinite targets, so the damage numbers it can produce are actually pretty good, and it will contribute to your cleave damage. The next thing you can do, and it's something you really should do as a shaman, is level engineering. There's several bombs and grenades that you can craft that are very useful for spamming in AoE packs. There's even as low as dynamite all the way up to, like dark iron bombs. Like, these things are great for padding your AoE damage numbers when you just really don't have that many tools to contribute for AoE. That also includes things like the crystal charges you can get from Ungoro Crater. They function much in the same way, create a little AoE fire damage for you. Moving on, you'll have some alchemy items and some food items, like the Oil of Immolation just does a constant AoE fire damage around you. There's Dragon Breath Chili you can eat that randomly procs AoE fire damage in front of you. And these are only a couple things in those lists of, specific item categories that you can use. I'm going to list Teledrill's consumable guide again at the end of this video so you can find the complete list of all the things you can use. And final 2 points here. Always have your lightning shield up. There's a lot of times mobs will proc random AOE damage, and that random AOE damage can hit your lightning shield and therefore increase your AOE damage. And then the final note really is, if the mobs you're fighting have fire resistance, like in Molten Core, you're really not going to be doing a lot of AOE damage. And by a lot, I mean you're not really going to be doing any AOE damage. So at that point, just try to focus on single target as much as possible. And you know, we have to wait until like ZG or AQ come out for us to be able to cleave again, because at least there, everything's not immune to fire. So that's going to be it for the AOE DPS guide, everybody. I hope it's been somewhat informative for you. I just realized that I made that single target guide, and like I said, a lot of people are checking it out, and it doesn't really cover AOE at all. So I hope this bridges the gap for you and helps you do a little bit more cleave damage, and maybe sometimes keep up with those mages and warriors. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. If you like the video, remember, give it a little like. Please subscribe, hit that bell, doot doot doot. I'm that guy. I gotta say these things now so the channel grows. And if you have any other ideas for videos you'd like me to make, or content you'd like me to comment on, just let me know, man. I love the ideas, and a couple of these videos I've made so far have really just been like suggestions from people in the comments. So you could be next. Make sure to follow me on Twitch. The Holderhek, twitch.tv/theholderhek. I'm on the Fairbanks server. If you're there, give me a tell. You can add me on Discord as well. Info's below. And that's going to be it for this video this week. I truly hope the next one I upload, my voice has recovered. Although it's been about a week now and it sounded like this the whole time. So this could be it for life. Ugh. I can't wait. I can't wait. So yeah, Holderhek signing out. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye.